In and be seated. All right, I'll just read Court's Exhibit 10 one more time since family members have joined us after I read it. Court's Exhibit 10 reads as follows. Your Honor, we are locked in our earlier vote of 8 guilty, 4 not guilty after another 2 hours of deliberations. No individual has wavered in their vote. So in light of any additional evidence, we don't see anyone's mind changing. Signed and dated by the foreperson at 5:07 p.m. All right, at this point, it would be the court's intention to declare a mistrial. Does the state want to be heard on that?
Your Honor, the state's only position, the only other option would be to bring them back Monday and give them the Allen charge, and the state would ask.
The defendant's position?
Judge, I would ask that you take the mistrial if you're going to, I don't know why we're bringing it back Monday. I would keep them deliberating if the prosecutor wants to have them deliberating. I would ask the court take the mistrial.
All right, then I would propose to, over the state's objection, it would be the court's intention to declare a mistrial. I can bring all of the jurors in, declare the mistrial on the record in their presence, and formally excuse them from any further service in this matter. Anyone have any opposition to that procedure?
Inasmuch as the state disagrees with the court's decision, I don't have any opposition with the court carrying out its intention in that fashion.
Defense?
No, thank you, Judge. That's our preference.
All right, then let's bring in all the jurors, including the alternates. All right, with all of the jurors now present in the courtroom, it is my understanding from Court's Exhibit 10 that the jurors were unable to reach a unanimous verdict on any of the counts. It is therefore required that I declare a mistrial in this case. So I am declaring a mistrial as no verdict has been reached on any count. I want to thank the members of the jury for your service. I am going to excuse you from any further service in this case in just a moment. When you began serving on the trial, I told you that you were not permitted to talk about the case with anyone or have anyone talk about the case with you. You are no longer under those restrictions. You are free to talk about the case if you wish to do so. You are also free to politely decline to discuss the case if that is your wish. So with that, your service has concluded, and I will excuse you in just a moment to go with the bailiffs. And I am arranging for deputies to escort you all out of the building if anyone wishes to have that. So thank you for your service. Go with the bailiffs. And if the deputies have someone who can meet with them. Okay. Okay. Mr. Adderhold, if anybody who wants to be escorted, if they could just wait just a moment in the jury deliberation room, a deputy will be there to assist.
Okay. Thank you.
We also need all of the evidence back in the courtroom. All right, so that pretty much concludes the jury trial at this point. We do have the matter of the verdict from the first trial in which Mr. Ford was convicted on 3 counts. Obviously, we still are under the pending statutory speedy trial demand that continues to run. And I suppose we will need a decision from the state, which they are probably not prepared to make today, as to whether or not they wish to retry this case in a third jury trial. Because of the time frame running with the speedy trial demand, we're going to gather on this case one day next week to figure out, are we going to go forward with sentencing, or are we going to go forward with scheduling trial number 3? I'm free to do that on Tuesday or Wednesday of next week. I know the state will be here whenever I summon them. Mr. Lewis, what's your schedule on Tuesday or Wednesday of next week?
Inasmuch as a representative from the state will be present, I am available Wednesday. I have a medical procedure scheduled Tuesday, and I will not be in the courthouse.
Well, we have court scheduled Tuesday, so somebody from your office will be available in your stead because we already have court scheduled.
Judge, in my mind, Monday the 14th, I do not start a jury trial. I might start one on the 21st and the 28th, but I think I have something on Monday. The better course for me would be Wednesday, only because whatever's going on Wednesday, I can twist it and bend it to make sure that I'm here with you. I can just let the court know, irrespective of whatever other decisions will be made, I intend to file a bond motion because I think my client is in a different position. That you may be in a position to address that bond motion on Wednesday. You may or may not be comfortable addressing it, but I just want to let the court know that's my intention on Monday morning to file a bond motion, so that if we're not going forward with sentencing on Mr. Ford and his trial is not starting on August the 21st, I'd like to be heard on bond. The family under the statute has a right to be apprised. I put it on the record now. I intend to file that bond motion. I don't know if this acts as sufficient service to let them know that I intend to ask for a bond motion on Monday. If we deal with it on Wednesday, great. If not, then we'll deal with it at a later time. Obviously, if the prosecutor makes the decision they aren't going forward, I will be ready on Wednesday for the sentencing on the counts that Mr. Ford was found guilty of and from the first trial. Thank you, Judge.
Anything else from the state?
No, Your Honor.
Right, I'm already scheduled to hear the citation for contempt for Ms. Holly on Wednesday at 9:30, so it just makes sense to schedule this on the same date and time in the event that Mr. Holly wants to speak on her son's behalf should we go forward with sentencing on Wednesday.
That's fine, and I'll twist whatever I have to do to make that happen.
So we will reconvene on this matter Wednesday at 9:30 a.m. in this courtroom. Should Mr. Lawrence Lewis file a motion for bond on Monday, I will address the bond issue on Wednesday. Should the state decide that they are not going to retry the case a third time, then I will address sentencing on Wednesday. If the state decides that they are going to retry the case, then we will schedule the date and time for the third trial on Wednesday while we're all together. I have not done the math, but I think Mr. Lawrence Lewis believes that the speedy runs in this term of court.
Judge,
I don't know. I haven't looked at that.
Judge, respectfully, the speedy trial demand was filed. Let me get the exact date. I think it runs the first Monday, Judge. I had another chance to look at the.
Well, the next term starts the second Monday in September is the next term of court.
Judge, the speedy trial demand was filed on February 21st of 2023, which would have been the December of 2022 term. I believe that term counts, March term counts, and the June term counts. So under the statute, it would be the case would have to be tried by the second Monday in September, or all the charges would have to be dismissed. That's the statute. My reading of the case law out of the Supreme Court of Georgia, I can't give you the site, extends that time period for another term. They have this weird use of the language it's just it's a weird interpretation of the language, which I interpret to mean it will not run until the first Monday in December. So based on my reading of the law out of the Supreme Court of Georgia, the state would have until the first.
You can continue.
Sorry, they've been excused. Sorry, Judge. They have until the first Monday in December to try the case.
If you get a chance before or by Monday, can you forward that case that you are referencing to Ms. Wofford so we can
Yes.
look at that as well?
Yes, Judge.
And copy,
Yes.
obviously copy the state on it.
Yes, Judge.
All right, Mr. Umberg, you have all of the evidence, and we will ask the state to maintain possession of all of the evidence. I will take the indictment and verdict form and the copies of the request to charge. All right, anything else that needs to be addressed by the court from the state's perspective?
No, Your Honor.
From the defense perspective?
No, thank you, Judge.
All right, we are in recess. Mr. Ford is back with the deputies. Thank you. Have a good evening. Exhibit number 10. You can just leave all the evidence up here. You can just leave it up here, Mr. Umberg. They'll take possession of everything. Thank you.